right, do we go live on Instagram? Cool. Here. All right. You are not what show? I am host Ralph here with the homies Tar and Marv. What's good with you?
What's good, fellas?
How y'all feeling tonight?
Man, dope, man. Started a new year, man. We had to get it popping right. We had the championship games yesterday, man. I'm excited. Some good games we had yesterday. We're gonna talk about our feelings about it, bro. But was you shocked by the outcome of the games?
Okay. And we lost Marv for a little bit, but we're gonna see if he comes back. But continuing the show, this show has been brought to you by Fitboxer. If you want to do any podcasts like what you're watching, music videos, photo shoots, call the number on the bottom of the screen, 707 Fitboxer. Make sure you go and you follow all of our socials, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. My personals are down there on the bottom as well. As you are watching, we live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on Instagram, and we got a good show ahead of us. As we get Marv back, how you feeling, bro?
He muted, bro. You muted.
Yep. See, yeah, I got kicked off and I was muted. You know what I mean? A little adversity, but we making it through. We here. We surviving, bro.
I felt that.
I'm good, though, bro. I'm good.
All right. So to start off, I was watching Cam Newton, 4th and 1 podcast. I think he has a really good podcast. I don't know if y'all watch it or not, but I've watched it a few in its entirety. And I feel like he's entertaining and he's a good football mind that should be respected in this field. But he was talking about a particular topic, and I feel like it is worth talking about. Should more teams consult their quarterback when addressing offensive needs and building an offense?
You want to go, Marv, or you want me to start off?
You can go first.
Okay, so to me, I just think it depends on like the situation, right? And the age of the quarterback, right? Because a lot of times I say yes and a lot of times I say no. And I can give examples for both of why I say yes and why I say no. In the situation of yes, somebody like a Lamar Jackson like a couple years ago and a Patrick Mahomes now, because you look at Patrick Mahomes' team now, absolutely. At the end of the season, I wouldn't have a problem with talking to Patrick Mahomes about or him going to team management with like a list of players that he could see himself playing with, because you've seen what they did last year or this year didn't work, right? Like Marquise Valdez-Scantling and old boy from the Giants who went to Florida, boy couldn't catch a cold butt naked in Alaska, right? Like right tackle is trash. You go from Orlando Brown to Tyreek Hill to what you got now is crazy.
Yeah.
And great players want to play with other great players. So, players have conversations within the offseason to want to play with each other. And you think that there's not some guys on losing teams that currently are hitting Patrick Mahomes up, hey, we should team together. We should play together. And they see his struggles. I mentioned Mike Evans, last time we were all on together, like that's a situation that, hey, if they had that conversation in the offseason, let's go, right?
Facts.
But yeah, it's just saying like the status of the quarterback and the status of the team, yes. But then there are situations where I look at where I also say no, right? Like a guy like Aaron Rodgers right now with the Jets, right? Like they completely built that offense around him, and he's old, 40, right? And it's not really what's best for the team. More so, it's what's best for him and his comfort level, right? Like the first move that they made under that Jet regime was bringing in his old offensive coordinator who was garbage, right? Like Nathaniel Hackett shouldn't be calling plays nowhere. I wouldn't trust him in Madden, right? Like y'all have kids and I love y'all kids to death. I wouldn't want him coaching y'all kids, bro. Like he's a horrible coach, right? And the simple fact
even that bad as a coordinator?
Bro, outside of Aaron Rodgers, and he didn't call plays for the Packers. He wasn't offensive coordinator, right? He was with the Jaguars before, and he was like the 27th ranked offense with the Jaguars. He's been terrible his entire career. Outside Aaron Rodgers, he's just cool with Aaron Rodgers. So you got him, right? He made them give Alan Lazard $40 million, and Alan Lazard has been in the witness protection program all year, right? They healthy benched this man, like whatever.
Yo, that contract he got was crazy though.
Was insane because he's cool with Aaron Rodgers, right? He got Randall Cobb a contract.
I'm all for people getting their bread though.
He got Randall Cobb a contract for no apparent reason, right?
Yo, he old as fuck.
His backup for Tim Boyle. He got Tim Boyle a contract.
Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah.
He sure did.
You gotta take if you're gonna get me, you gotta take the homie too.
You got Tim Boyle. If you look up Tim Boyle's like football resume, he's never won, and his interception touchdown ratio is his interception touchdown ratio is garbage in high school.
Because I was gonna say he wasn't good in college either.
He wasn't good in high school, but he's Aaron Rodgers' best friend, bro. So that's what I'm saying. Like Aaron Rodgers, and I'm not mad at Aaron Rodgers getting your boys paid, right? But at the simple fact that he's not making the Jets a better team. He just has a list of demands that he wants, the people that he wants to play with, and they sign. There was a report earlier that at the end of the season that the Jets are interested in getting Devontae Adams for a first-round pick. They don't have a second-round pick. So all of a sudden, you're not gonna have a first-round pick. You're not gonna have a second-round pick. So you're gonna be a garbage 4-12, 5, whatever the record was, with a third-round pick because you're trying to make Aaron Rodgers happy, right? So in those situations, no. In that situation, no. But if you're a younger quarterback and you want to win, then yes. But in an Aaron Rodgers case, no. And we've seen a lot of those. Like Tom Brady has done that, right? Like kick younger tight ends out for Gronk. Like we've seen this before, right? So yeah.
Yeah, the way that O.J. Howard got did in Tampa, that didn't make no sense. I'm like, O.J. Howard is nice.
Right, for Gronk, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like we know what it looked like in those situations, yes, and in that situation, no, right?
Facts. Marv, how you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. It's pretty much situational. I believe also if you're not a transitional talent, if you're not hey, we got a guy out and you still will us to a win, if you're not that type of guy, I'm not listening to you as the front office.
Facts.
Like, I mean, I might want to make you feel like you're included, but I'm not taking, no. You know what I mean? If you're the top, you're the Lamars or, you know what I mean, like you're saying, and Aaron Rodgers in a healthy situation, you know what I mean, things like that, then yeah, I would go ahead and include them. Hey, what do you want? What do you need? What do we need to do to get this to the next level? Outside of that, I mean, it's my job to lose. I'm the GM.
Facts. Yeah, I think that I agree with both of you. I do think that there's like a threshold of talent level to your production on the field before I consult with you. And I think offensive wise, like the actual play calling and how I run things offensively, regardless if you're a franchise quarterback or just my quarterback at all, I'm gonna see what it is that you're good at and try to call a game based on that. Which I don't feel like enough teams do that.
True.
But as far as like whether or not I bring this person in versus keeping this person or trades and who I draft and what direction I go in as far as like the people I pick, yeah, you got to be one of them dudes for me to be like, hey, so how you feel about me trading for so-and-so?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And like I said, even if you are one of those dudes, right? Like one of those dudes, you have to have team intention in mind. Like Aaron Rodgers with the Jets had no team intention in mind. It's just guys I want to play with. They're my friends. Right. Like he wanted Mercedes Lewis. What does 40-year-old Mercedes Lewis going to do for your franchise? Not a goddamn thing. Right. So that's what
Mercedes Lewis went to UCLA when we was in high school, dog.
I was going to say, I was like, this can't be the same dude.
It's the same. It's the very same Mercedes Lewis.
It got to be conducive to winning. Like if Patrick Mahomes like, yo, we need Mike Evans just because he's a playmaker, then yes, I respect that because yes, we do because look at what we got, right? Or even like we're going to mention Justin Fields. If he was to say, yo, we need a more dynamic offensive coordinator that lets us do this, this, and this, then cool, I'll listen to that, right? But if it's something that doesn't make sense along the line of Aaron Rodgers not wanting Mercedes Lewis, other than he's my best friend, then yeah, get the hell out of here, right?
I felt that one.
Because if not, you got the inmates running the asylum. So,
Yeah. And so we got playoffs coming up last week. I think we're in week 18 is what we're pulling up on. So I got the 49ers, Lions, Cowboys, Saints. No. Actually, I switched it. I got the Bucks just because I think that I think if they were to play one game, I feel like the Saints would win. But they're not. But they're playing different teams with the same record, and because I think the Bucks won the last one. I think they would win the tiebreaker. So I'm gonna go. Bucks are gonna get in, Eagles, and then Rams. And then on the AFC football side, I got Ravens, Bills, Chiefs. I got the Texans getting in, Dolphins, and Jaguars.
I think the Colts are going to get in instead of the Texans.
The Texans they play each other.
They play each other, so that's
they play each other. So I'm gonna roll with my boy.
I mean, I hope he wins, but I think more complete team wise, the Colts have a more complete team. So
they're playing really good football right now too.
Really good football. But it's football, so he can definitely go out there and beat C.J. Stroud and win it and get them in. And you know what I mean. So I really want him to win. But I've already picked the Colts prior weeks, so I'm just gonna stick with my pick.
What's the scenario for the Steelers? So because I know like catastrophic and insane stuff have to happen for them to win, but the whole thing is like
he said, "I'm not stepping out on a limb. I'm stepping out on a leaf."
They have the easiest situation to win because the Ravens aren't playing anybody.
Yeah. If the Ravens choose to not play nobody,
they're not going to play anybody. So because they already clinched, so it's like, what's the point of playing somebody? The Steelers will play at 100%, and I think that if the scenario presents itself, I think the Steelers end up being.
And I think Lamar wrapped up the MVP in that last game, so it's like kind of no need to play anybody else. Yeah, I feel that.
I agree, but
I think what it is I think they need the Bills to lose.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was just saying Bills ain't finna. They got too much momentum right now.
I think the Bills gotta lose, and the Jaguars gotta lose or something like that.
Ooh.
Okay, yeah, nah, I don't know then. Yeah, because you got me at the
Jaguars just now starting to pick it back up too.
Pretty much, there's on the AFC football side. There's three sides. I mean, there's three spots left, and right now, it's like the Jaguars got the 4th spot, but if they lose, the Colts or the Texans can win the division.
Yes.
So, really, if the right teams win, like if the Colts win and the Jaguars win, I think they both get in.
Right. Yeah.
But I think if one of them lose and then the Bills lose, because the Bills are at 10-6 right now, and the Dolphins are 11-5.
Oh, look at God! They're showing it right now. Okay.
That's crazy.
Okay, so the Browns are 11-5. The Bills are 10-6. So the Colts are 9-7 with the last spot.
Yeah.
And then
the Browns. How do we forget about the Browns?
So it's the Texans. It's the Texans and the Steelers with the last spot on that side, right?
Yeah.
So I think regardless of the fact, because the Bills are 10-6, I think they're good regardless because the Browns just clinched. They clinched last week versus the Jets. So they're just fighting for those last 2 spots.
The 2 spots. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're just fighting for those last 2 spots.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious how it's going to work out. I do personally think that one that is not like it has no playoff implications, but I am curious to see. Actually, no, I think it is because I think the Packers are still in the hunt.
Yes.
Bears play the Packers in Green Bay. And the way that Justin been playing, I'm kind of curious because especially if the Packers, if they win, like they're trying to win the football game and try to sneak into the playoffs. And then one team is like, that's your rival. You can keep them out the playoffs.
Yeah, usually the rival who's not going to make the playoffs rises up to the challenge, and they play above their heads. I've seen it decade after decade. Like it happened. But I will say this. I'm going to say in addition to that, if you seen that corner throw that he made to the pylon, that boy's on fire right now.
Yeah. Facts. Big facts. As far as the NFC side, was there anybody I mentioned that you disagree with or feel like you got a different lineup of people?
No,
I was just surprised that the Rams turned their season around. I think that should be the story of the NFL. I really do. Like with a lot of no one's really talking about. What did they start 1-6?
Yeah, they had some crazy.
Would you say that real quick? Not to switch conversations, but who wins Coach of the Year? Because I think there's so many situations where it's the exact same. Sean McVay could win it. The dude from the Browns can definitely win it.
Yeah.
The Texans coach can win it, and the dude from the Colts.
If the Texans make the playoffs, I got to give it to him.
Yeah, because it's like the Sean McVay situation. You should have never started off that bad to begin with.
Yeah,
but they're not.
And then it's like,
if you look at the roster, though, it's like, what would make them be that like a playoff team? Because I felt like
but at least 500. You don't got to be, you know what I mean? But around 500, like a Mike Tomlin. If you're that, I'm just saying, like the Sean McVays, you know what I mean? Those type of coaches, to have that bad of a skid to start off the game, to have that good of a comeback is quite amazing in my eyes. But if people want to say, yeah, but he shouldn't have started off that bad to begin with because he's Sean McVay, he's the boy genius and blah, 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 blah. He should have at least went 500. Okay, cool. Boom. So that let's jump to the Texans. That gives their coach and the Browns, that gives you see what I'm saying? So I was just like, I can see if somebody wants to make that argument. That's all.
My only thing is, who the hell is Puka Nacua and who the hell is Kyron Williams?
Hey,
before the season. Before the season, who are they?
Hey,
Kyron Williams' story is amazing. People need to look up his story.
Yeah, bro. Byron Young is leading them in sacks. Who the hell is Byron Young? That's my thing. It's like they have the most.
Hey, is he the tackle or the edge? Because there's two dudes that got drafted this year that got the same name, and one of them
we got the bum one. That's next topic. We got the bum one. All right, next topic.
Next topic. Justin Fields. At this point, business-wise, it makes sense for them to trade him. But football-wise, I think it's best to trade back from the pick. But where is Justin Fields' best fit for next year?
For me, I say the Raiders or Falcons. Those are my two picks. I think because with the Raiders' recent winning streak, I think they need a quarterback desperately. And that takes them out of the running for the top three, the Drake Mays, the Caleb Williams, and Jaden Daniels. So then I would leave them with J.J. McCarthy and Michael Pitt and all the rest of those quarterbacks I think are second round. So to me, it's like, what would I do in that situation?
I was gonna say, what about Bo?
And you got Cam Ward too, if you want to throw him in.
Bo Nix is 38.
Yeah, he's 38. Yeah.
And Ward, he need to go back for that extra year.
He gotta go back. Yeah, he gotta go back.
Tripping.
But for me, it's like, okay, so I would sacrifice that second round pick because I think he would be the next best quarterback in line. And the Raiders and Falcons are both in that same predicament where they're gonna miss out on the top three. So then are you gonna reach and get a quarterback, or are you gonna get a guy that's already 24 years old? He's 24, 25 years old. I think he's younger than Bo Nix if we're gonna talk about age. I think he's younger than Bo Nix. So if you're gonna go from that standpoint,
Justin Fields.
Yeah, Justin Fields.
He might be actually.
So you're gonna go with the already ready-made quarterback, ready-made prospect. The only thing that you're kind of sacrificing a little bit is he's in his contract year, so you're gonna have to give him the contract opposed to the rookie contract. But I think fit-wise, look at the weapons the Raiders have, look at the weapons the Falcons have, and the situation of them missing the best quarterback. I think those two are his best fits personally.
Go ahead, Marv.
That's a good. I would say just for I don't think the fit would be the best, but this would be the best situation for Justin Fields. For him to go to the Jets. Hear me out. Go to the Jets because we know Aaron Rodgers is coming back next year. He didn't do all this showing that his Achilles is fine and do all that for him not to come back next year. That gives Justin Fields a year to sit, learn the system, and it gives them a year to build and get talent on the offensive side, right? Then he steps in because I doubt that Aaron Rodgers is going to play another year after next year, no matter what happens. I highly doubt it. Then Justin Fields steps in with a dominant run game, offense he's used to. Hopefully, they get him some weapons and in a top 5 defense that sets him up for the rest of his career.
Yeah,
that's just. I mean, I think that's the best situation that he can go to. Fit doesn't always work out because you know what I mean, like you know what I mean. But I know that's the question. But the fit, I agree with Tar. That's why I can't really say I agree with him. You know what I mean. And I don't want to seem like a homer as a Raiders fan. So you know, but I would say best situation. I would say the Jets let him sit, learn the offense, come in, step into, and then think of how good, talented, and young that team would be.
Right. Yeah,
that would be my.
I see both. I think that the homer in me feels like the Raiders.
Right, exactly. And, see, I didn't want to do that.
But then also to like have a young core on offense that is, as much as I talked about how much I dislike Drake London going into the draft, but Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, and Justin Fields all on the same offense. As long as you got somebody that plays to their strengths,
you got to get
as long as you got somebody that plays to their strengths, then that offense is crazy. Yes. That would be a crazy offense. And they have a decent defense too with some studs on defense. So like but the homer in me is definitely putting him with the receivers we have, running back, a good young tight end, and then the way defense has been playing. And
we got to keep AP though. If that's the case, we got to keep AP.
Those are facts. And I pretty much advocate for him. I say keep AP on at least the last 3 weeks in a row on this show. I've said it that we need to keep him.
They got to get a better offensive coordinator though. The offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
100%. Bama loses to Michigan. Michigan scores a late touchdown, and then Michigan scores another touchdown. In overtime, they're able to stop Bama from tying the game in overtime, so Michigan wins. Did y'all get a chance to watch the game?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Did it go down how you think it went down? What's going to go
down?
Oh,
absolutely. No. It went because I thought it was going to be the Jim Harbaugh legacy game. If Jim Harbaugh doesn't win this game, it's just like, what are you as a college coach, right?
Oh, God.
Because in every big moment, you kind of get out-coached. And this is a situation where he didn't get out-coached. And this is not a Nick Saban team, right? Nick Saban's teams don't fumble the ball. They have centers. Their center could not catch the ball for some reason. They couldn't hike the ball for some reason. So it's like Nick Saban teams don't do that. And it was like Nick Saban, I would like to say he kind of looked a lot like Mike Tomlin this year, like finding ways to win this year. Like that Auburn play was lucky. Like that just does not happen.
I just watched that clip and I'm like ain't no way how you get that open.
Yeah, that doesn't happen, right? And I just think the luck ran out. This just wasn't a typical Nick Saban year. There's not that one flashy Alabama player that's going to the draft this year.
Yeah,
they have like 1 million people getting drafted this year. It just wasn't a Nick Saban type of team this year. And I just think Michigan momentum-wise, it was us against the world. This might be Harbaugh's last year. He just hired Tom Brady's agent, so he's looking toward the NFL. Like, this was just his statement game of me against the world. And I think that it played out exactly how you wanted it to play out. They were down. J.J. McCarthy had the big drive. The ball was tipped. It could have been intercepted, but the guy makes an immaculate catch.
Yeah.
Right. So I think the storybook ending of going into overtime, you score in overtime, and then the play that Alabama lost on, it was just a bad play, and they made the play. It was just a storybook ending for Michigan, and it matches their year. He was suspended earlier in the year, suspended middle of the year, and so finally win and get and earn his respect by beating a Hall of Fame coach. It's a Hollywood script, and that's exactly what I thought it was going to be for Bama. And I told Matt this way beforehand. And Matt called me. He was like, bro, you called it. I was like, bro, like it just was what it was to me. Like I just saw it. And if they win, he's definitely going to the league, Harbaugh. So I got them winning because they're going to rally around Harbaugh. That's going to be the narrative, right? So, yeah.
You really think he's gone?
Oh, he's gone.
Bro, yeah, he's gone. He's out of here.
He hired Tom Brady's agent. He's going to the league.
The NCAA still hasn't come down for whatever that you know what I mean. So that's still looming. So in order to avoid, we've seen this time and time again. In order to avoid whatever's coming down by the NCAA, I'm out of here. You know what I mean? And then he goes on to make, I think, at least double, if not 3 times as much as what he would be making at Michigan right now. So it's like, why wouldn't he? And then if you want to go, let's say if he does take the Chargers job, you get a Justin Field, you get all this talent on defense. You know what I mean? You get Austin Eckler on the offense. You know what I mean? So it's just like, and that's just if he takes the Chargers job. The Raiders could decide, hey, no, I don't want AP, we want Harbaugh. You know what I mean? Or he could go a couple other places too. People are talking about. So I think he's definitely gone. Win, lose, or draw, he's out of there.
He's out of there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think I had Michigan going into it, but I just felt like, it's Bama. They're gonna find a way to win one. Like, and I just think that they're like you mentioned, like their magic just ran out. But Washington, I had Washington. I felt like Penix was gonna be a monster in this game, and he had over 400 yards throwing, and Washington was able to hold on at the end. If yours gives a better pass at the end, they're at least tying the game, because the receiver ran a route where, as he's breaking off, if you throw it closer to the pylon, that's a touchdown.
That should have been on a rope, bro. He should have threw a dart straight to the rope. Then he can bow and put his arms out, snag it. You're still inside. He lobbed it, and you know what I mean. Yeah. But in his defense, he either thought I have to go back and look, but he either thought or did get pressure. And 9 times out of 10, as a quarterback, when you get pressure, you're going to lob the ball. Or when you think you're going to get pressured, you're going to lob the ball. So that's what he did, and that was the result. So, I mean, that's why I said they should have started Arch. But that's just me.
I just want to throw in a shameless plug real quick. Number 3, the dude that blindside blitz, that's my cousin, right?
Hey,
that's my cousin. So I just found it out like 2 weeks ago. That's actually related to me. So it was like the fact that he threw it bad, my cousin almost messed him up on that blindside blitz. So he was afraid of my kinfolk. But
hey, that blitz, that was a good ass blitz though.
Work. But it was the fact that they were calling mysterious pressures, and he was just falling under those mysterious pressures. This is why he needs to come back, and he ain't ready for the league yet, because he tends to do that a lot. He gets unsettled. He gets bam, right? So, and I agree with y'all. You know, with your sentiment. If it was a better throw, Washington loses, because a lot of Washington's corners are very undersized. Yeah. So it dude's 6'4". Mitchell, he threw it to 6'4", 220. You gotta put it in a place where only he can get it, and he didn't. Let him box out. You gotta box out, right? You gotta throw it in a good position. But Penix, man, like, he looks amazing, right? Yes. Like, if he didn't up his draft stock already, you know, with what he did already this season, he should have by that game, because he throws the prettiest deep ball I've probably ever seen. Like, it's right there where nobody can catch it. He puts it in good positions and stuff like that. Man, like, I'm it's a bummer that Johnson got hurt, though. The running back, it's a bummer. He got hurt.
His foot. He looked like I don't know what happened on that play, but he looked like it hurt.
Yeah,
like you could see the pain that he felt in his foot, in his face. But with Washington and Michigan, Char, you feel like Michigan gonna get it?
Yeah, just because of what I said with Harbaugh.
It's already wrote, bro. Like, come on, dog. Michigan, what, you think Washington's gonna win their first national championship over a blue blood like Michigan?
Yes.
Not gonna happen. Sorry.
Put it to the top.
Yeah, because I think the fact that JJ McCarthy was able to look good passing the ball yesterday, that's how you beat Washington. Their secondary it can be exposed a lot, right? Like I seen Bo Nix score on them in 3 plays when they were up big already, and I seen the same thing happen yesterday, right? Like they're susceptible to the big play. They can make certain plays inside. They got that big guy, the defensive tackle, defensive end. I can't think of his name, but he's that one guy that can apply pressure. But outside of that, you got to send, Powell, my cousin, number 3 on the backside blitz, or that's the only way like they get pressure on the quarterback. Outside of that, it's a comfortable day for the quarterback that pick them apart. And you got Corum that can run the ball, right? So I like Michigan on that end. And then Michigan has the NFL corners too. They got Johnson on the outside, Will Johnson on the outside, and the safety that's going to be a NFL draft pick, I think 2nd round this year. So yeah, bro, like it's just styles make fights, and Michigan just the style of Washington, Michigan has all the counter moves for.
Yeah, I would agree. I look at it like a power puncher versus like a speed guy. And it's just like, okay, you might be able to hang for a couple rounds, but as soon as he connects, it's a wrap. Like, you know what I mean? As soon as Corum starts to hit off them 5, 7, them hits them, the 13s, the 25-yard runs, they're right around the corner. And then after that, it's a wrap for you. There's nothing you can do.
Right.
Yeah, them joints feel like gut punches after a while.
Right.
I think, I don't know. In games like this, I tend to go quarterback. Whoever I favor at quarterback is most likely who I'm going with. And I just feel like Penix is a better quarterback. So I think that he can do enough to get the victory.
Let me ask you this.
He would have to have a Vince Young type of a game.
Ralph, let me ask you this, being an Ohio State fan. Would you compare Washington's style of play to Ohio State's style of play? And I know McCord is butt. That's not even the question. But I'm just saying the fact that you have all those, like Emeka and Mark Harrison Jr., you got all the wideouts, right? Same thing. Washington has those wideouts. And you've seen how well they played. Will Johnson, I don't want to say he shut down Marvin Harrison Jr., but he made it a tough day for Marvin Harrison Jr., right? If you put Will Johnson on Romeo Odunze, like that's an NFL first round matchup. Like,
yeah, I just found out he's from Vegas too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what high school he went to, but when I was watching the game, they was like, "Oh, the Vegas product." I was like, "Oh, snap, we in there." But probably, honestly. So we got Michigan. He would go mute right when I'm about to ask a question. But Michigan, I'm definitely going Washington. And then you got Michigan as well, Marv?
Yep, I got Michigan.
Yeah, I bet. Game's on Monday. I can't wait for that one. We're leading up to it. I just did mine. I just want to pretty much, before I start, NBA.com, we got to change the format on the way we voting for this. Because my lineup I wanted was going to be Jokic, KD, Luka, Ant, and then Shea. But it's like Luka's technically a guard. So I can't have Ant and him and Shea. So I got to pick 2. And I just feel like Luka and Shea playing such crazy basketball right now that I went with them 2 over Ant, although Ant is the best player on the best team in the West. So it was kind of, I don't know, but I definitely, when I'm picking reserves, that's the first person that's the reserve is Ant, my personal opinion. But then at that point, since I had to pick another big, I grabbed AD. He's like 6th in efficiency in the league this year, like 25 points, like 11 rebounds, 2 blocks, and a steal and a half a game. I feel like he's been balling, staying relatively healthy. So I'm going to give him the spot at the 4, KD at the 3, and Jokic at the 5 in the West. And then on the East, when I really was like sitting there looking at it, like at first, I thought of like Tyrese Maxey, Trae Young, Dame, did I say Tyrese Halliburton?
You didn't say Halliburton.
Nah.
And then Tyrese Halliburton. Jalen Brunson is another one as well. But after going back, I had Halliburton off rip. Just bringing it up. As soon as you think about it, he's one of the first people you think about at guard. And then I was like, Trae Young's numbers are so crazy that I just can't put somebody else above him. So because he's averaging like 28 and 11 or something like that. So I got Trae Young starting at the point. Halliburton is next to him. Then Tatum, Giannis, Embiid. Who y'all got in y'all starters? Would y'all start someone else?
For me in the East, I got Tyrese Maxey at shooting guard. I just think the year that he's having, he should be rewarded just because it's crazy. I'm not gonna say necessarily starting, but I want him to make it. I want Paolo Banchero to make it.
Yeah.
And I think one of those Nets, like the hidden Nets, should make it. Cam Thomas or what's the other dude? Mikal Bridges.
I want Mikal to make it.
I want Mikal to make it, like one of them to make it. I'm not saying starters, but I'm saying like All-Star game to me is like it's so nostalgia that you always want the bigger names in it that somebody is gonna get snubbed and left off. Like if like for example, if Steph Curry, which I don't have a problem with Steph Curry making it, but if De'Aaron Fox gets left off because of Steph Curry, that's gonna piss me off,
oh
right?
God.
Like De'Aaron Fox should be he could easily be a starter.
Right.
But in the West, you said AD. Like I like AD, but he's been wishy-washy. I wouldn't mind throwing Chet Holmgren in there.
Okay.
Hey, he been hooping.
Yeah.
Chet Holmgren's been hooping, and I wouldn't mind Chet Holmgren because it's like I think we reward nostalgia a lot just because of names. And a lot of times like we don't reward people who are actually having great years because they're either smaller market or they're just not known like within the namesake wise. So we leave them off of it. So that's what I don't want to see this year. And like I said, like I want Tyrese Maxey as a shooting guard. You mentioned Trae. Trae could go. Like,
hey, is Şengün a reserve?
Shea, I think Shea should start, bro.
No, yeah, for sure.
Şengün from the Rockets.
Oh.
Who?
Şengün or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Baby Yoke, pretty much they call him Baby Yoke.
Like, he's one of those people too that I mentioned. Like just because he's on a smaller team, like you're probably gonna not make. He's not gonna make it, but he's deserving of it. But my more so they're probably not gonna start. But I'd be pissed off if there's no Paolo. I'd be pissed off if there's no De'Aaron Fox. I'd be pissed if Mikal doesn't make it. I'd be pissed. I think Anthony Edwards should start. But it's like if Steph were to make it, but before any of them, it's like okay, that's kind of nostalgia, right?
Right.
I don't mind LeBron. You can't keep LeBron off the All-Star game, but LeBron he shouldn't start.
He definitely should not start.
But he'll make it, but he shouldn't start.
I don't have a problem with him being a reserve, but he should not start.
Oh, bro, that's crazy.
He can't start, bro. Like, cut the cap. Quit playing with him.
Right, but yeah.
Next up, should the Ravens, after this tear they've been on the last two games, be the favorite to win it all?
Yeah, definitely. You look at them as a complete total and what Lamar's doing as an individual alone, and it's hard to say that because if they were the Chiefs, everyone would be saying Super Bowl.
Facts.
If this, you see what I'm saying? If this was the Chiefs, or if they were wearing teal and they were in Miami, everybody would be like, "Oh my God, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl!" But for some reason, because they wear black and purple and it's Lamar Jackson, it's well, what is he going to do in the playoffs? He's going to do what he's doing now.
Right.
He's gonna answer all the questions. That's what he's doing now. So I say yes.
Yeah.
I
agree with this. I agree with the sentiment. His sentiment. Like they're the total package. You know, they can run the ball. He got wide receivers now. Kai's been telling me Mark Andrews is going to come back. So now you got Isaiah Likely.
I just heard about that.
You got Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews in the team, which is crazy. You got Zay Flowers who can go deep. You got Odell who has playoff experience. So offense, they kind of check that out. They can run the ball, and they got a defense. You know, like they got a defense that gets after you. They play aggressively. They're
physical football. They play as physical as you can play in 2023.
Yeah, of course. And like the 49ers game and the Dolphins game, that showed me everything I needed to see. Like,
Yeah,
That's all you need to see.
and
yeah,
they
I
won in
think
dominant fashion.
facts. The thing I hate and about sports media, and I'm gonna use Speak as an example because we were talking about them before we started the show. I feel like too often, like they don't pay enough attention to teams that are updating resumes in real time because it's like, well, if it's the Eagles been playing like shit all year, but it's like, oh, they got to the Super Bowl last year, so I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt, and it's like I'm watching you play like shit all week after week after week, but because Jalen Hurts was the MVP runner-up. If he didn't get hurt, he should have won it. To some people, they were in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts led them to a Super Bowl, but because they did that, I'm just gonna give them this benefit of the doubt. But I'm watching the Ravens week after week after week destroy teams, and truth be told, if you go back in those games that they lost those games. It wasn't like they were outplayed. Maybe in one of those games, because I definitely know the Colts game, and I definitely know the Steelers game. They should have won those games, and so like I feel like there's a benefit of the doubt that other teams are getting that the Ravens are not getting. So, but at the same time, earlier this year I was talking about their regular season success, and I was starting to put them in a category of the Cowboys. And it's like your regular season, I don't really care, bro. I'm waiting for you to get to the playoffs and show me that you can do it in the playoffs. And that's the part for me that I am with them, although I do think that they should be the favorites. They do have the most complete team. You having to go up to Baltimore, play in cold weather, being able to run the football, physical defense, people are healthy. And them possibly being able to get Mark Andrews back, putting him on the other side of Isaiah Likely, and then the rotation of players that you can put in, Odell, Zay Flowers, Bateman is healthy still. Getting Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, having those five being able to switch in and out on route running combinations. Yeah, I definitely got them as the favorites. And so the time we got left, we got some quick hitters. Another Cam topic was watching the Cam Newton 4th and 1 show, and he was talking about Jared Goff and how Jared Goff should get some type of acknowledgement given the situation that he was traded into. He was traded away, pretty much sent to no man's land. People's careers go here to die. And now, year after year since he's been there, you're seeing an improvement in the team. Coincides with the head coach as well. But I feel like him being the person leading the way, I still feel like there's an amount of praise that he should get. So should Jared Goff get more praise for the Lions' success?
Yes and no. I think the yes comes from the fact that, they've had success, right? And he's a really good home quarterback, right? He's good at home. But the no comes on he's pretty on the road, and he throws a lot of bad interceptions. Because there's games where he'll throw 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he'll set the world on fire. And then there's games like Christmas, and there's games like last week where you're like, damn, I want to trade this dude, right?
Right.
So I think if there was a little bit more consistency, I would say absolutely. But we got to see how he plays in the playoffs. Obviously, he got him to the point of the playoffs. He is a Super Bowl quarterback because he did help lead the Rams to the Super Bowl, right? But then you look at his performance in the Super Bowl, it was, right?
Boy, played like trash.
The playoffs matter and how he performs, but he's made them a respectable team. So there's a yes, but then the consistency, there has to be some consistency there.
Yeah. Marvin, got anything to
add? Pretty much the same. I'm just gonna lean heavy on the no. Like I've just seen too much. I'm really
no.
Yeah, I'm really hard on quarterbacks because like I was a Peyton Manning fan and people trashed Peyton Manning for a decade, bro. For a decade. I'm like, you don't understand how hard it is to. Oh, well, he's a number 1 pick. So okay, So Jared Goff's the number one pick. They should be having some success.
Yeah, facts.
You see it all that. So I'm coming from that aspect. So no, I don't believe he should be getting more praise than what he is. You are a former number one pick, former NFL Super Bowl starter, for a franchise. You should be having some type of success. You shouldn't be a complete bum. So no, I feel like it's adequate.
I felt that. All right, so shows like Undisputed, First Take, debate shows are popular in today's sports media. So in these instances and on these sports shows that you would typically watch, do you prefer former players or do you prefer the journalist personality?
I think for me, it depends on who the journalist is, right? Because I grew up in the days of Stuart Scott. I grew up in the days of like Max Kellerman. Like if you're a non-biased journalist without an axe to grind and you're giving me advice on what you see, then cool, right? Like an example of this is like I got a homie who's a boxer, like he's on the top rank. His name's Shushu Carrington. And when I watch his fights, he walks up to me and he's like, "Hey, yo, bro, like what can I do better in the fight?" And he respects my knowledge of boxing, and I tell him, right? But when you watch like a Skip Bayless, LeBron had a bad game and he sucked. LeBron had 30. What about his performance that sucked? You're just getting clickbait, right? So those type of journalists you don't respect, right? That just have brash ass opinions that he just sucks and you're not telling me why he sucks.
Right.
Just so you can have clickbait. Yeah, I don't like you, right? But a lot of the times, former players, they can be idiots too. Kendrick Perkins is the worst analyst on television right now. He's god awful. Am I lying?
No, he's pretty bad.
I think he be tap dancing a little bit. That's just I think because you see he totes a very fine line of trying to keep it real, and then I'm on ESPN, so I have to, fulfill X, Y, and Z. So I think it's a lot of that going on. Same thing. That's why you see Stephen A. I don't like Stephen A. like that, but you see he's very different on his podcast. If you do watch his podcast, than what he is on ESPN. He's totally different.
So he's completely different. Watching his podcast.
Yeah. So it's the network restrictions keep these characters in play. So it's not necessarily the reporter in what they want to portray all the time. It's the narrative of these networks that they'll pick up. But I feel like if you're going along with it, some part of you is okay with it too.
Okay. You know what I mean? He's not knowledgeable though. Because he'll take no. Like he'll take something and he'll completely jump out the window, right? Like he'll say what he said after the Phoenix Suns made that trade. Oh, well, they're 72-10. They're going to be a 72-9 team. How? He said the Lakers. He said that James Harden and Joel Embiid are going to be the best duo since Shaq and Kobe. Why and how? Like he'll say like Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? He's the worst player in the NBA, and then a day later, he's the best player I've ever seen. Yesterday, you just said he was the worst player. Like he's not good, bro. He's not, and he can't talk. He sounds like Bubba from Forrest Gump.
Not the Bubba comparison.
He said that's about all the shrimp we got.
He trips over his lip when he talks. So like former players like that, no. I don't want your opinion on nothing that I do. But there's other ones that like Ryan Clark is very knowledgeable. Like
I like Ryan
very
Clark.
Knowledgeable. Like there are some guys like inside the NBA I respect, right? But you can tell the difference between somebody that's just doesn't know and is trying too hard and is very knowledgeable, or ones that just, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I just think it's a fine line. I definitely think it's a fine line.
I agree too. I would say in general, I would prefer the former player.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
there is a fine line because you do for every Ryan Clark, you got a nigga
Ryan Hollins.
Some wild shit. Ryan Hollins is like he be getting on saying some shit. I'm like, nigga, what?
What's the other dude? Jason Whitlock. He be wilding out.
Like, bro, you
I be
said
forgetting
some
he played.
wild
I'm like,
shit.
you ain't never played. I'm
Right,
like,
You know who's been driving me crazy lately? Richard Sherman. Like, bro.
Yeah.
yeah.
I be so like with him. There is no middle ground. It's either I'm spot on with what he said, or I completely fucking disagree. Because when he was talking about like Lamar and like the stats versus the previous stats and what the stats are this year, and then somebody said that defense was down. I mean, defense was up, offense was down, and he was like, "That's not true." And I'm like, "Bro, go and look at everybody's numbers over the last couple of years, and then look at their numbers now. For whatever reason, offense is down. Touchdowns are not that high up."
I'll give you another one, Emmanuel Acho.
Yeah.
Oh my look. I can't stand him, bro.
He's another one that I'm like, there's days I'm like, all right, bro. And then there's days where I'm like, hell no.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it just depends on who the former player is, because there's a lot of them that want to be like where Stephen A. Smith is at. So
right, trying to make a name for themselves.
They're trying to make a name for themselves. So they'll say the most off the wall shit you ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Emmanuel Acho is more of like the Michael Strahan type, though. He's trying to get to Good Morning America.
Oh, he's trying to get Michael Strahan for sure.
Yeah. That nigga's trying to get on Good Morning America.
Yes, but he's gonna. But you don't have to compromise. Show. Look at Nate Burleson. He's trying to be the same level, and Nate Burleson is actually really good at his job. So
yes, facts. I do like Nate. I like Nate Burleson. I think the one I'm most proud of is Shannon Sharp, because the way he talked, for him to get to where he is now, from how he started right after when he started with I think it was that CBS that he started with.
Yeah, he was on CBS. Yeah.
To get to where he is today, I feel like that's the one I watched you go from this to that, where I felt like Michael Strahan always been a lovable person. This man was always gonna get to. White people love Michael Strahan, bro. No offense to him at all. No, I mean this by no offensive thing, but white people love Michael Strahan.
He like old boy from the Chappelle Show, Wayne Brady.
Yeah,
he's just a likable guy,
right? Big smile, gap teeth. White people love him. Gentle giant. Panthers have had a bad season. They got the Bears the number 1 pick. But has Bryce Young shown you enough that you can say he's a franchise quarterback?
I'm gonna say no.
Nah.
I mean, I know we're hoping he can be talent-wise and all that, but if the question is, has he shown to be? No, he has not. No, I mean, I'm not saying it's his fault either, but I'm just saying I haven't seen it. Just in the way that we have a CJ Stroud, even with the early struggles and the late successes with Justin Fields, I just haven't. We haven't seen enough from him. You know what I mean? So I would say he needs time. But if I had to answer right now, no.
Actually, Anthony Richardson was pretty impressive before he got hurt too.
Yeah. Anthony Richardson is reckless. He's pretty reckless, though, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say I want to see.
He does backflips for no reason and but like.
Yeah.
But see, there was an unnamed source today that told Adam Schefter on the Pat McAfee show that they said he's too small. Like, they look at him and they're afraid of his body size structure that is too small. Like, no duh. Like, he's built like a 11th grader. Like, no, that's a no duh. Right. And so a lot they fear injuries from him because of how he's built and the structure of his body, you know, and like that was a realistic thing in the draft, and like they just were completely ignored and oblivious to it. Right. And it's just like you could put him in all the weight programs and all the weight training programs and all this offseason, but he's still going to be small, and there's really nothing you can do about that. Right. And so that's the one thing that, you know, they should help him with this offseason, is trying to at least get some body definition on him, put some weight on him, you know, to help him in the future. You can get him
better offensive coordinator.
You got to get his body worked out. Get him a good
offensive coordinator.
You know, so
I felt that. I do think he's real small, but I think that just to kind of not to the degree of that many weapons, but what Brock Purdy has to do with the 49ers offense. Get him some weapons that all he got to do is deliver an accurate football and let them make plays. And I feel like that was why I always said that I thought CJ was better, is that I think that regardless of the offense, CJ can make it work and raise the play of the people he plays around, where I think Bryce is a really good leader who is like, all right, we got some weapons, let me work. But to make these weapons better, that's why, for me, I'm going to say no. But I've also been the person that said I like CJ from the get-go, and other people disagree with me on that one. So I just wanted to ask y'all on that one.
You know how I felt. You know how I
facts.
felt. We had this conversation.
I brought it up before, but did the refs still one from the Lions?
Well, they should never got to that point first and foremost, because that clipping call, the dude tripped over his own foot and y'all caught clip. So, and then like they brought up that referee's like tendencies. He does not call roughing the passer for nothing. So that referee has been the worst referee all year. So my thing is, like, I'm gonna let you guys answer the question, but I do have a question, because I'm like, we see this way too often and it's not changing. Is there something that the NFL can do to avoid situations like this with the playoff starting? Because number one, like, there's no press conferences for referees where you can ask them questions of why you caught that, right? So you can't do that. They don't fine the referees like you find a player for. They fined Josh Jacobs $20,000 for trucking somebody. So you're not gonna fine a referee for messing up. They don't even have it like the USFL, XFL, where they have that instant replay, and you hear Dean Blandino talking. You just have these old retired refs making up rules as they go, trying to explain it to you on TV, and nothing that they say makes sense. Dude from ESPN blamed the number 68 for not. He should have walked up to the referee and say, "Hey, I'm eligible." Bro, they know. They're trying to discreet that, right?
Right.
You want a big 6'8" dude to jump and jack. Hey, they're gonna give me the ball. Like, is that what you wanted? Like, huh?
Right.
So he was like, that's the player's fault. No, it's the referee's fault, right? So is there something that NFL can do to make that more clear? Because we obviously know what we saw, right? Like, we know what we saw. So it was a bad call, but the play before that was horrendous too. So there has to be something else we can do.
That shit was egregious.
Right.
So this is what I saw, right? 68 reports as eligible, right? He lines up as a tight end, and then what happens? Does anybody remember?
Didn't they motion?
No.
I believe either it's a motion or I think it is, because the receiver comes over, right?
Yeah.
And the receiver covers the tight end.
Yeah.
As far as having too many people on the line of scrimmage.
Right.
So at that point, the tight end is no longer eligible. It is not the referee's job to say, hey, if you want to catch the ball, you cannot catch the ball anymore because you're covered. It's up to you to know that. Or it's up to your receiver to know, hey, he's eligible. The play is calling for him or possibly for him. I need to step back off of the line of scrimmage so he's still eligible. It's not the referee's fault. The referee did what he was supposed to do by the letter of the law. It's the receiver's fault. Again, just like a couple weeks ago when the receiver didn't look over to the ref and make sure that he was eligible. How many times do we have to deal with receivers not knowing what to do?
Yeah. And I think that goes to like what Tom Brady was talking about, and players have talked about. The IQ of today's player is
thank you, bro. Like
you're going down, down, down.
Every single time you should, as a receiver, I was taught to look over to the ref and always check.
Yeah.
Always check.
Yeah. The only thing that I will say about that, Dan Campbell did explain that to the referee beforehand, and the referee told him that was good, that you can do that. So I don't think that there's a knowledge of rules either way, because I looked at two different referees on two different channels explaining this rule, and it was wrong both times. So it's like there's no clarity either side of what the rule is. And I'm gonna tell you guys something. I don't know if you guys know this. Huh?
I was saying we got 30 seconds.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but most NFL referees aren't full-time NFL employers. They have other jobs outside the NFL. Like
that's crazy.
Ed Hockley's a lawyer outside of this. Him and his son are lawyers. So in the off season, they don't really read the rule book like that. So they only get prepping during the they only get during like preseason. They get prepping around that time. So they don't know the rules neither. So that's the main concern that I have.
But we got to get up out of here, y'all. It was a pleasure. I appreciate you guys coming, showing up. Pause. I don't know what I was about to say. I'm kind of high right now. But I appreciate y'all for pulling up. It was a good time. Make sure you go and you follow all the socials on the bottom. On Instagram at J.U.K. Sports Show. On Facebook, the He Say She Say channel. He Say She Say all one big chunk. Juke Media on YouTube. Going forward, we would continue to keep being live on Instagram, Facebook, as well as YouTube. Catch a live or catch an audio version of the show on Wednesday morning on everywhere where you listen to your podcast. On Thursday, we will have a re-aired episode, and coming soon, I will start doing a second live episode on Thursday or Friday night, trying to figure that part out. But we out of here. Thanks for watching. Love, peace.